If you have a 2020 and up Ford Super Duty and you want to upgrade your lighting from front to back, we're going to tell you guys what we recommend at Headlight Revolution for the headlights, the taillights, the fog lights, and so much more. So follow me, let's get rolling. Your original headlights use an H13 halogen bulb. The H13 bulb is a bulb with two filaments in it. It's a wire wound filament, and it does both low beam and high beam on this one and this one here. You gotta get an LED bulb out there that's going to match your original halogen bulb. You don't want something that has the LEDs all over the place. They need to mimic the halogen bulbs the best as possible. And if you didn't know, we've tested hundreds of bulbs on vehicles just like this one with a reflector housing. So be sure to check out those videos so you can see why we came to the conclusion that the ones we are telling you guys are best. So let's get rolling. We're gonna back this truck up about 25 feet from the wall, and we're gonna measure the lux with the Konica Minolta lux meter. That's going to give us a good representation of how bright something is at a certain point on the wall. We're gonna show you guys the lux of the low beam and high beam. That's going to be the benchmark, and we're gonna compare it to all the other lights out there. So here we are. This is what you already know. This is your halogen bulbs on low beam. We measured the lux at around 540. Now, when you see the words lux, don't pay too close attention to that. It's really hard to replicate from day to day. We've got different ambient light. The vehicle might be 2 inches closer, 2 inches further from the wall. Just focus on the percent change from here. The first bulb I want to show you guys is the 2-stroke 3.0 bulb from Morimoto. On low beam, we measured 200% brighter than your original halogen bulbs. But that's not even the whole story. You got to look at the color. If you want this color versus that dingy halogen color, this might be a great option for you. It's not just about the beam pattern, it's also about the color. These do a really good job of putting the light where you need it. It's not scattering it everywhere. This is what your stock bulb looks like on high beam, and compared to the 2-stroke 3.0 on high beam, you get this. And it comes in 106% brighter than your stock high beams. We then removed the bulbs and then tried a new bulb, the GTR Ultra 2. I would say probably my favorite bulb. The GTR Ultra 2 on low beam was 260% brighter than your original halogen bulbs. You got that beautiful color, you still got the width, and on high beam you get 170% brighter. This is what happens when you put in an Amazon bulb. Like I said, we've tested hundreds of them, and this is just one off the shelf. You can see the beam pattern is now scattered all over the wall, and this is the last thing you want. It may look like you got a lot of light everywhere, however, you are blinding oncoming drivers. And like I said, it looks like a lot, but it is only 46% brighter than your halogen bulbs. And on high beam, they're only 39% brighter. Remember, the lux is the brightness at a certain point. If you're putting all of that light everywhere, it's not doing you any good. And here's another one you've seen on our channel hundreds of times because it's always coming out on top when it's compared to all of the other bulbs out there, the SV4 bulb. On low beam, the SV4 bulb is 207% brighter than your original H13 halogen bulbs. On high beam, you get 174% brighter. Now I could go all day by putting different bulbs in this headlight housing, but you get the picture. Those three are on top and the rest are just downhill from there. But if you don't want to just do your light bulbs, there is another option. You can take this entire headlight housing and then throw it away and then get something like the Morimoto XB LED headlight housing. That is going to be a very refined beam pattern. That's going to give you those cutoff lines that you want. Not only that, it's going to give you the style. It looks super cool. It's a complete LED replacement housing, and it's got projectors, LED projectors from the top to the bottom. If you did opt for the XB LED headlights replacing your entire housing, this is what it looks like, and on low beam, you get 179% brighter. But as you can see, that light is distributed much more evenly than the original LED replacement bulbs. This is going to give you an intelligently designed beam pattern that's not going to blind oncoming drivers, but it's also not going to blind you by putting the light too far down. It's got a gradient from the top going down. That's something you can expect from LED projectors in a headlight housing. On high beam, it looks like this. It's got a real good tight beam pattern. It puts the light far down the road, and it's 169% brighter than your original halogen lights in this test. In this video, I'm not going to install the Morimoto XB headlight housing. We've already done that, but I am going to show you guys how to quickly install a new LED bulb. So if you choose one of those, you're in good luck. First thing we're going to do is pop this hood, and then the front of this vehicle is going to have to come off. Let's show you how to do that now. First thing we're gonna do is remove this plastic cover on the top here. Grab a pry tool, make your way to one side, and we're working over from left to right. You'll find about 14 push tabs in there. Once those are removed, grab the plastic cover, remove it just like this, and set it aside. Now grab yourself a 10mm socket and a ratchet like this. We're gonna remove some 10mm bolts on the top of this grill. We're gonna try to get the face of this grill off so we can get to the headlights. Starting on one side, working your way over. Now this vehicle didn't have it, but I have seen push tabs on the 20 Plus Super Duties, so if you have those, remove the push tabs as well. I'm gonna reach up and I'm gonna remove this. Once you're up here, you're gonna see it. There is one on each side, so go over here and remove that one as well. Now, before you start yanking on this grill and pulling it away, Ford threw a curveball and we got 2 little hidden bolts on each side. There's a plastic cover right here, as you can see. Get a pick tool, reach behind it and pull it free, and then you'll find your 10mm bolt that you're gonna need to remove. So remove the plastic cover like this, and just be careful because as you see, you can just shoot it across the room. Put your hand in front of it, pull it back slowly, and then you'll see your 10mm bolt there. Grab your 10mm socket and remove that bolt, and then do the same thing for the other side. The grill is almost off, stick with me. We're gonna pry out the top here. There's a couple of push tabs up here, so just be very careful and mindful of that. And then you got push tabs on each side, but you can't just yank it off. Don't do that yet. We're gonna pull it down a little bit. We're gonna take a long flathead screwdriver and we're gonna push down a couple of tabs that are down on the bottom of the grill. Again, it's gonna be hard to see on camera, but hopefully this will help you. Do that same thing for all 4. Now in this grill, we do have the sprayer and a camera on the front grill, so go and disconnect those now. What I like to do is just use the flathead, pry this black plastic up a little bit, and then pull it free like that. And let's unplug this one by pushing this tab on the bottom and then pulling it free. Just like that. Now grab the grill and pull it away and set it aside carefully. Now we're ready to remove the headlights so you can change your LED bulb. We've got 2 bolts on the top. Those are a 10mm. And then on the side here, it's gonna be hard to see. There's this rubber piece. You might have to lower the bumper to see it. Some of you guys will not have to lower your bumper to remove it. And that is a 13mm bolt. I'm gonna start on the side because I don't wanna remove these 2, remove this and have it fall forward when I'm way over here. So first, follow me down here. So get your 13mm socket, pull this rubber tab down and you'll notice the bolt inside there. Now on this side, for some reason, I do have to lower the bumper a bit. On the other side, it was just fine. That's no big deal. I know it's a pain in the butt, but this is how you get your 13mm bolt out. We're gonna reach over here, we're gonna pull this plastic cover off. We're gonna loosen up these 4 bolts on each side. With the bumper lowered, we can reach in here and remove this bolt. There's only 2 bolts left holding this headlight in. Let's go remove those now. One really important thing to note, if you're gonna get an LED bulb, you need something that is adjustable, like this GTR Ultra 2, or the other 3 that I recommended that's not the Amazon bulb. If they're adjustable, they can be aligned properly. You're gonna see these vertical lines, and it's essentially mirrors. This is the reflector housing, and the halogen bulb reflects off of those mirrors and then shines outward to give you a proper beam pattern. Well, you need to replicate that with your LED bulb. So it can't sit in there like this. It can't sit in there like this. What you want it to do is shine like this because these LEDs are shooting out, right? And they're bouncing off of those mirrors in the reflector bowl and then aligning on the wall to make your beam pattern. So just remember, if you're going to put LEDs in your reflector housings, have them aligned just like this. Now your headlight is free. You don't even have to remove your headlight. All you have to do is pull it out a little bit. Just be careful you don't want to scratch your paint on the side of your vehicle. Turn your halogen bulbs counterclockwise and remove them. And then grab whatever LED bulb that you've chosen, plug it into the original factory wiring, and then push your LED bulb back into the housing, turn it clockwise, lock it in place, and you're good to go. So you've just upgraded your headlights and it's a dramatic upgrade, but while you're here, you have all of the grille pulled off. You might as well upgrade the turn signal as well. Now, the turn signal is a pain in the butt to find an aftermarket bulb that is not going to hyper flash. Now, on these new Super Duties, they're not gonna hyper flash on the outside, just on the dash. So it's gonna look normal to everybody else if you get some random bulb off the shelf that doesn't have a resistor, but it's super annoying in the dash and it's the last thing you want. This is the bulb that I'm gonna recommend. This is the GTR Lighting iLED bulb. This is the bulb when it comes to fitting in this housing without a hyperflash. This is a hyperflash adapter and it goes in line between this and the connector that you need. If you look online, any old forum, anything that says what bulb you need, it might say 7443. And just so you know, that is not what you need. This is what made it so difficult for us, but thankfully we test before we actually put this on our website. The bulb type that you need to get to replace your turn signal bulb on these Super Duties is a 4257 bulb. So thankfully GTR Lighting makes an iLED bulb with that connector, so it was really simple. So let's connect this real quick. There's 2 arrows. We're gonna line up the keyway just like this and then push it in. Make sure it's pushed in well. Then we're gonna take this barrel connector here and we're gonna twist it over top. This is a waterproof connection. Once this HyperFlash adapter is installed, we're gonna install the connector right here. Line up the keyway that has 2 arrows, give it a push, and then twist the waterproof connection over top of that. Now before I install this, let's go and remove your original turn signal bulb. So turn this counterclockwise and pull it out just like that, and then remove your bulb. Now, as you can see on your headlight housing, there's 3 different grooves here on this circle where the connector goes. You need to have the screws on the iLED bulb line up with these so you can twist it and lock it into place. So to do that, the iLED bulb comes with the Allen key like this. To get this bulb to work, you need to remove all 4 of those screws and remove this collar. Once you remove the collar, you need to put the screws back in this configuration right here. 1 screw here, 1 screw down here, and 1 screw here. Then let's put this rubber seal on top of the bulb as well. And now this bulb can lock into place, you can plug it in and it'll work just like your factory one, only way brighter, and now it's a complete LED housing. Plug it in and make sure everything works properly by testing it. If this bulb doesn't work, take it out, flip it 180 degrees and put it back in. If it still doesn't work, cycle the key off, plug it back in, and then you can turn the key on and try it again. Now, just like that, your headlights are now completely LED. From the side markers to the parking lights, to the turn signals, to the headlights, you are an all LED assembly. So the front of your vehicle is now taken care of. Let's go to the tail lights and show you what we recommend and what we've tested to actually work on your vehicle. Now, if you have a 2020 and up Ford Super Duty on the backside and you want to upgrade these taillight bulbs, you can do that. But just remember, there's a lot of bulbs on the market that you can buy off the shelf that say they work, but then they cause a hyperflash on the dash and it's the last thing you want. As you can see here, we've got a bulb up top and a bulb right here. If you're gonna spend the money on an LED bulb instead of replacing the entire housing, you want something that works without any hyperflashing. That's just annoying. We're also gonna upgrade the reverse lights and give you a couple tips along the way. So, first thing you gotta do is drop the tailgate. So using that 8mm socket, we're gonna remove these 2 bolts holding in the taillight. Now there's a couple of push tabs on the outside, so don't just pull this towards you like some of the taillights out there. We're gonna pull the side out like this, and then you can pull it towards you. Now I'm just gonna remove all of these connections real quick so it's easier for the video. So I'm gonna turn these counterclockwise and remove them. This is one of the brake lights. However, this right here is extremely hot. If you left these on to make your own video or something, do not just touch this bulb. You will burn your fingers. So let it cool off for a little bit and then you can remove these bulbs. This right here is on the bliss module. Let's go ahead and remove that as well. Remove your reverse light bulb, just like that. And the last brake light's kind of silly. You do have to push this tab in and pull that off, and then you can turn it counterclockwise and remove it. If you want to upgrade your turn signal bulb, you do need a resistor that is going to provide resistance so you don't have hyperflash on the dash of the Super Duty. So take this piece of crap bulb and we're going to throw it away. This is the Armor Series bulb, and the Armor Series bulb is still from GTR Lighting. It's a really good bulb. It's incredibly intense. It's very bright. When you're hitting that turn signal, people are going to see you when you're turning. Now, the only thing is you do need to get some resistors. So I got a set of resistors here. This right here is a resistor from Morimoto. All of these will be linked in the description below this video because I know it's a lot of bulbs I'm throwing at you, but these are what you need to do if you want to make this housing entirely LED. So we're going to put this bulb in place. This resistor is a 7.5 ohm. You do need a 7.5 ohm to get this to work properly in the 2020 and up Super Duties. So we're going to connect this bulb here, the Armor Series, into your original bulb socket. Now this Armor Series bulb is a 4257 size. You don't have to modify this bulb at all. You just plug it in just like that and it fits perfectly. It is polarity specific. Once you have all of this done, if it's not working, take it out, flip it 180 degrees and put it back in. So go back to your wiring on your vehicle. I do recommend you guys testing these wires yourself to make sure that this is correct. We have to connect that resistor to the power turn signal wire. The turn signal wire that receives power and flashes on, off, on, off. The other one's gonna be connected to the turn signal ground. So in our case, it's right here. We got a green and red, or a green and orange wire, and then a brown and blue wire. These two wires right here, we're gonna connect one end of the resistor to that, one end of the resistor to the other one, and it doesn't matter which way it goes. You can't get that wrong. I'm gonna cut back this tape and sheathing just back a little bit to give us more room. You probably don't have to. Thankfully, the Morimoto resistor comes with some T-taps, and put it over. We'll do the blue one first. We're gonna put the metal piece over that like that, and then connect it just like this. I'm gonna use the pliers to really close it down. And now do the same thing for this green and orange or green and red wire. The reason I like these Morimoto resistors is because now all I gotta do is plug this into those T-taps that you did there. Then it doesn't matter which one goes to which. And then we're just gonna use some self-tapping screws. You only need one of them to hold this up. It does get hot, so you don't wanna mount this to a plastic panel like on your taillight housing. This is the last thing you want. So put a self-tapping screw through here into the truck bed, just like that. You won't see it, so it's gonna be just fine. So grab your bliss module. Now that the resistor is mounted, we're just gonna connect that real quick and then make sure all of the functions work properly. And let's hit some turn signal. As you can see, that's working properly, and it's extremely bright, and it's LED, so you don't have that slow on, slow off turn signal. You gotta try out the carbide 2 bulb in your brake lights. That's stupid bright. These are definitely brighter than your original brake lights. Let's go just parking lights, and as you can see here, it is not flickering on parking lights, and that is a win, because a lot of those other ones out there did flicker, and we're not getting any error codes either. And let's try out the reverse light bulb. I absolutely love the GTR Lighting Ultra Series reverse lights. As you can see, you're probably seeing spots by now. This is the brightest reverse light bulb I've ever found. Like I said, I love this bulb and it works every single time. If any of these bulbs are not working at all, what you need to do is just take it out, flip it 180 degrees and push it back in. If that doesn't fix your problem, the ignition does have to be off when you put the bulb in the socket. So turn the ignition off, flip the bulb 180 degrees, push it back in, and then turn the ignition back on, and then the lights should work properly. Put all of these back into the sockets, and then this is ready to get pushed back into the truck. Now, I love these videos because we get to go from front to back and modify this entire truck and get the best products out there. If you're an enthusiast that loves to go the extra mile when it comes to LED lights like we do, there's something else I would recommend, and that is the backup light boost bar from Morimoto. Boom, this is exactly what you want. This right here goes over your license plate and it is essentially a light bar. All you have to do is remove the 2 screws holding on your license plate light. You're gonna test fit the boost bar over top of that by putting those 2 screws hand tight back in. You're gonna mark where the wiring goes and you're gonna drill a small little hole. So once you get that wiring ran up here to the taillight, bring the wiring right here. You can T-tap this into your reverse light wiring. If you did get the Morimoto XB taillights, instead of doing all of these bulbs, it's already got a connector that's plug and play on the backside. It's there for you, it's got a dummy plug on it, and if you want to install the backup light boost bar, remove the dummy plug. So the wires that you're going to tap into for that boost bar is on the reverse light wiring itself. Now, thankfully, there's only 2 wires, so you're not going to mess this up. The green wire right here is the positive wire. Put the red wire to this one, and then the blue one is the negative wire. Put the negative wire into that. Your colors might be different, so just check with the voltmeter. Now, every time you throw this into reverse, not only is this extremely bright Ultra Series reverse light going to illuminate, but so is that Morimoto light bar. Next, after you put all this back together, you might as well upgrade your license plate lights. So let's get down there real quick. Now for the license plate lights, if you want to make those LED, it's much more simple than the tail lights. It's a T10 bulb, and remember, that T10 bulb is extremely hot if it's been left on for a while. So just replace the T10 bulb with something like this. This is the 10-chip LED bulb from GTR Lighting, and it is extremely bright. If you want a really bright license plate light, this is it, and it's very modern. The modern white color is going to bring your vehicle into the age of which it is, which is a 2020 plus Super Duty. We also got this right here, which is a T10 6-chip LED bulb, which is the same bulb from GTR Lighting, just with less LEDs. So it's not quite as bright and it's a little bit more affordable. So that's upgrade number 1. You can just replace the bulbs and use these ones. Click the links in the description to find out which bulbs these are. Also, there is a complete housing replacement too that you see here. This is the Morimoto XB license plate housing replacement. This right here is just as simple as replacing these bulbs. You reach up, push a tab, it'll fall forward in the front, then you can grab the license plate replacement, plug it in, and push it back in. It's really, really easy. If this was my truck, I would recommend just doing the whole license plate housing replacement because it's very affordable. Whatever T10 bulb you choose, if you want to just replace the bulb, get it in a white color. Don't get a red T10 or a blue. It is not legal when you're driving around. All you can have is a white light here. This is a smoked LED replacement housing, and it's going to completely transform the mirrors on this truck. When you're driving around with your daytime running lights, this XB mirror light is going to illuminate white. So when you're driving around, it'll be bright white. It'll look so good and modern. When it's off, it's got this smoked look, and then when you hit your turn signals, this is gonna have a sequential effect, and it's gonna be amber. So let's show you guys how to install it. So the first thing you gotta do is push the top in so you're not gonna ruin it. And then we're gonna remove this mirror first. We're gonna reach in with a flat pry tool or a screwdriver and pry out. Just be careful. Stick the screwdriver in, and then you can just twist it to pry it out. You'll hear it remove itself from the clips. There you are, just be careful, and then unplug it. Now we're gonna remove this mirror, so we're gonna push on the top here, and then we're gonna reach on the sides here and pull it out. Just be very careful, this can break. I'm gonna remove this completely, so I'm just gonna take it out of these little clips here, and then unplug it. All right, now remove this tab right here, push down, and then pull it free. And now you can set your mirror off to the side. Now we're gonna remove this part and this part. And to do that, we've got 7mm bolts. We've actually got 5 of them. Let's go and remove those now. Now there's 3 tabs on the inside here that we're gonna just push, and then the front end should come off. So now 3 tabs are released. There's a little tab here pried down, and it's going to fall forward. So we're gonna remove the whole front plastic, just like that. And now you can unplug your original mirror light. We're gonna pull this tab back, and then we're gonna unplug it. So now this mirror light right here is just sitting in here. There's no screws at all. So you can pull it forward and then set this aside and grab your Morimoto mirror light. So now this goes in exactly like you just took the other one out. Line up the tabs and push it in. It sits in perfectly. Now all you gotta do is plug it in, put this back on the face of the mirror, and put it all back together, and you're good to go. I'll tell you right now, I like this white version a whole lot better than the original side markers on these Super Duty. If you want to see what else we have tested, we've tested the tail lights, we've put new bulbs in the headlights, we have been going from front to back on this Super Duty to try to find you guys the best lighting possible for the 2020 and up Ford Super Duty. If you want to see what else we have on our website, go to headlightrevolution.com, type in your year, make, and model, and you'll see everything there.